So at this point I want to change the subject just a little bit, and I want to talk about copyright. In particular, I want to talk about Creative Commons and copyright. And essentially, in Creative Commons, in looking at Creative Commons, we're looking at the sort of the breadth of copyright, and copyright says like all rights reserved. Creative Commons very specifically says some rights reserved, and very specifically allows the artist or the originator of the work to permit certain types of efforts with their work. For example, I can say that you're welcome to copy and distribute this work as long as you give me credit for it. And in fact, that's the way that this work that you're watching right now is currently licensed. So what I want to do is watch a video by Creative Commons very quickly here, and then come back to the conversation.
When you share your creativity, you're enabling people anywhere to use it, learn from it, and be inspired by it. Take the teacher, who shapes young minds with work and wisdom from around the globe, and the artist, who builds beauty out of bits and pieces she finds online, and the writer, whose stories use ideas and images crafted by people he's never even met. These people know that when you share your creative wealth, you can accomplish great things. They and millions of other people all around the planet are working together to build a richer, better, more vibrant culture using Creative Commons. To understand Creative Commons, you need to know a little bit about how copyright works. Did you know that when you create something, anything, from a photograph to a song, to a drawing, to a film, to a story, you automatically own an all rights reserved copyright to that creativity? It's true. Copyright protects your creativity against uses you don't consent to. But sometimes full copyright is too restrictive. What about when you want all those millions and millions of people out there to use your work without the hassle of coming to you for permission? What if you want your work to be freely shared, reused, and built upon by the rest of the world? Luckily, there's an answer. Creative Commons. We provide free copyright licenses you can use to tell people exactly which parts of your copyright you're happy to give to the public. It's easy. It only takes a minute, and it's totally free. Just come to our website and answer a few quick questions like, will you allow commercial uses of your work? And will you allow your work to be modified? Based on your answers, we'll give you a license that clearly communicates what people can and can't do with your creativity. You don't give up your copyright, you refine it so it works better for you. Welcome to a new world where collaboration rules. It didn't even exist just a few years ago, but now there are millions and millions of songs, pictures, videos, and written works available to share, reuse, and remix, all for free. Want to work together? Then join the Commons. Creative Commons.
So one of the issues that we're looking at here is that as artists, we take and we utilize the images from other sources. And in this class, we're going to use a lot of images off of the internet. What we want to do is be aware that copyright does apply to these images very specifically. And in fact, if we're going to publish these images, if you're going to publish something widely, you want to be very, very careful about the licensing of the work that you're using. In the case, though, within the classroom, there's something that's known as the fair use exception to copyright. And what that is that says that if your use of copyrighted material doesn't compete with the original owner, isn't about like sort of making money, or is for educational purposes, then any use, pretty much, is considered acceptable. Now, as soon as you start to publish it and publish it widely, there are some very specific restrictions on it, because then it does come into the realm of like competing with the original work. But in our case, and in work created for the classroom in particular, fair use definitely applies. Now, there's one other area of copyright and licensing that I want you to be aware of, and it's used by government organizations like NASA. and it is the public domain. Works that are no longer under copyright fall into this category. And in this case, there's no longer any need to even cite the original source for it. The work is considered free and open and part of our culture and part of our, and so there's no longer any reason to sort of reference who made it or why it was made or where it came from. An example of a work that uses the Creative Commons license is the Wikipedia. And whereas there are several problems with Wikipedia in that in the past a lot of the articles that are contained in Wikipedia were taken from copyrighted material without the permission of the originator, all of the material that was created for Wikipedia is licensed under a very friendly license. So when you see Wikipedia in my slides, it's very specifically because the material is licensed for other people to use and for other people to change and for other people to make derivative works of. And you see this in sort of the commons deed. What we're looking at right here is the Wikipedia Creative Commons Attribution-Share alike. In terms of like Creative Commons, the name of the license tells you exactly what you can do. So in this case, attribution is like tell what the original source was, and share alike is share the work that your derivative works the same way as the work that you've found or the work that you're using as your source material. And I want to relate this to a concept that's very important in the university setting, which is plagiarism. The difference between copyright infringement, plagiarism, and basically stealing, or in the case of art, appropriation, is that appropriation and fair use under copyright are done with citation. Plagiarism is about taking somebody else's ideas and representing them as your own. And there are problems with that, definite problems with that, both in the art world and in the world of academia. Now, one of the main purposes, or one of the main focuses here is that as an artist, I want people to share my work. I want people to look at my work. I want them to see it. I want to be able to make money from it, but I want other people to be able to enjoy it as well. And so one of the terms that has come up is like file sharing and dealing with shareware and things sort of that era, that nature, where it's like the idea of sharing music is no longer just playing music for someone, but giving them a copy of it. And that's completely different than like sharing music by playing music for someone.